How's everyone doing today? I hope everyone's having an awesome day. I would like to thank again each and every one of you for the really cool words of encouragement, and this video is helping some of you out, and if it helps just one person out, then it's all worth it. So, on the last video, we worked on the drums. We talked about getting the phase done, make sure the drums are in phase, putting again, I didn't really put many plugins on my drums. But getting the drums to sound, just enhancing the good and getting rid of the bad, putting them in their space. So just as a quick reminder, let's play our drums real quick. Oops, nope. Okay, so punchy, punchy kick drum. Actually, we can bring that down a little bit. You can hear the toms. They sound pretty big. So let's move on to the upright bass. Now, the upright bass is kind of arguably one of the most important things in a big band. Let me route this. We're just going to go to instruments here. But, because the bass, like for me, I'm a horn player, and I rely on the bass to give me the time and the changes. And in a big band, that's very important. Some engineers say, the bass needs to be, boomy, and especially if it's an upright, Some people say you need to feel the bass. The bass needs to be real clear. I agree with that. I like to feel the bass, the doom, 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 doom. And the way we do that is with compression and the right kind of EQ. So here is the bass here. It was done with 2 microphones. This is on the F hole, which is the hole of the bass, and this is on the frets. You can hear the upper harmonics of the bass. So, and we routed this to a submix here. Get that. There we go. So let's get rid of our drums here. We don't need to mess with them right now. Let's mute our drums, and then let's listen to our bass. Let me route this to the bass up again. I apologize. Thought I did that already. Now, basically, that's what a bass is supposed to sound like. That's they recorded it with a U87, which is, a fantastic upright bass mic, and a C414, which is a condenser mic on the fretboard, which is good. So it was recorded well, and so you could hear the. But let's get rid of, like I said, the for upright bass. There's sometimes engineers will only use one, and they'll just pick one, either the fret or the. Okay, and you can hear that rubber bandy doom 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 sound. Let's just make a little bit of moves, and let's get rid of the bad and enhance the good. So we're gonna go to about 90 here. Get rid of, because that's where the kick drum lives. And let's listen to the fret, the F hole part of the bass. You see that? Do you see that mud? Did you hear that mud? I'll play it for you again. It's not our friend. Let's get rid of it. Okay. Let's listen to this part. Now, another thing I forgot to do is let's make sure these are in phase with each other. Now, normally, again, you would just go here and go to this trim plugin, play both of them, and it has a phase adjust. Did you hear that? I'll play it for you one more time. Without. Listen how that low end just popped out. That means both they were out of phase with each other. Again, make sure things are in phase. So, what the first thing I like to do is I like to put a really good compressor on the upright bass. And sometimes I'll use two, and I'll show you what I mean. And so let's do this. And let's go here. I like using this one. I like using the distressor. And I like a really nice punchy bass. I'll go 4-to-1. And again, I'll just kiss the compressor. 2 dB at the most. You guys hear how it brought out that low end? Again, you want that bouncy type feel. Without. All right, now what we're going to do is let's put some EQ on it. I like to use, again, my go-to is the Neve, and so the first one is like I like to bring out the chest part of the bass, like in the 900. I'm in the wrong frequency, like in the 900 range of the bass. So. So you can start hearing the string noise a little bit. Like I said, I like to just boost the chest area. And to give it a little more oomph, again, we're using our saturation plugin. Boost that low end. Now let's here our put it with our drums. So if you listen to that, that sounds pretty good. That's a pretty good upright bass sound. So let's, again, I like to hear everything in context. Okay, so if you looked at watch the compression line here. That's a good indicator. If it's kind of in tempo, look at how it makes the bass nice and bouncy. All right, so if you saw what I was doing, I realized the bass was getting away with the kick. I couldn't really hear the kick. So the first thing I did is I went to the bass and I made sure that everything here was, out of the basses, out of the kick drums way. And then when I went here and I noticed that my drums were being compressed a lot, so I adjust the compression just a little bit, tack release, and then and I noticed that the drums started popping a lot. So listen. Okay, so, and yeah, I kind of wanted to hear more ride cymbal. So there we go for the bass. It sounds pretty good. I mean, yeah, I don't like a tubby, muddy bass. Some people do like that in their mix. Not me. I kind of like a nice clean. Okay, so, all right, so let's start with the keyboard now. Now the keyboard, when you're doing I learned this a lot doing a lot of big band recordings. When you're using two microphones now in this case this is just a keyboard. I think this was a Nord or something. I don't know, but when you're using two microphones on a real piano, you're gonna have phase issues. So that's the first thing you gotta do is check for phase. And the next thing I would suggest is, what is the keyboard's role? If it's a keyboard, if there's a lot of keyboard, then of course you want it to be bright and you want it to be. But let's listen to the keyboard and listen to her voicings. Now I'm going to use a plugin here just to show you, where she's at on the on her keyboard. That's not the right plugin. This plugin actually shows you, the keyboard and it gives you a good. Give me a second here. Let me find this thing. There's so many. I need to get rid of all these all these plugins. There's so many of them, oh, it's a Slate plugin from what I remember. Here we go. Okay, well, that didn't do it. Well, let's just look at the This shows you on the spectrum where she's at. So here's the thing, like where the meat of her sound is right here. Okay, in this area, like around about the 500, 400 range. You know, the tenor saxes, think about that. Think of where she's panned too. The tenor saxes, who lives there? You know, as far as the low end. The low end is on this side of the panning spectrum. So what we're going to do is, instead of boosting that that part of her, we're going to actually cut, and we're going to bring up the top end of her piano playing, and we're just going to roll off about a good 100. Let's listen to it before, after. Now with the rest of the rhythm section. All right. Now, and usually I like to put her, or them, forgive me, in a space. I like to, so I'm going to add a little reverb here. You know, I just like to put them in like a what you call it, a small room or something like that. So let me go ahead and get my reverb out here. Which one do I want to use? Yeah, I'll use the what you call it. Where's it at? Jeez. Jeez. Took long enough to find. So, and I have a nice little preset here called Al Schmidt, and it's just a basic hall. You know, it just, and again, it gives a little space to the to the instrument. So, again, I don't like to muddy up the waters. I don't like to use reverb a lot. I don't like using a lot of reverb. I use it actually very sparingly, and that's the biggest misused plugin amongst young engineers. So let's, and then make sure it's panned. All right, now I just like to add a nice little, just not that it needs it, but just to tame those punchy pop pop pop, just so they don't jump at you. I like to tame those peaks that they might have. So actually, I know it's a female. When I keep saying she, I know it's a female keyboard player, and she's a good friend of mine. And but I, so don't think I'm just presuming it's a she. She's actually a friend. So, like I said, this is a great start right here. Um, Again, just make sure you just tame those parts. So I'm hearing a little. Let's take a little more out of the low end. And like I said, I'm hearing some things in the bass. Let's do this. Let's see how much. Instead of making the compressor work hard, this is a trick too that a lot of people use. They'll use two compressors, and what that does is it shares the workload, and this is again, it's 1 dB here. You see what that did? That really brought out the bass a lot. So let's just, let's just listen to it a little bit. And then, again, I like to just give my ears a quick break and then kind of listen and see if there's anything that's jumping out at me. Okay, and with that, I like to put a little tape plug-in on the rhythm section. Again, it just gives it a little more. It's just a little. It's again a tape. It's a saturation plug-in, just a little bit. And so I think for the most part that works. That sounds like a nice clean rhythm section. I'm going to push the drums back just a smidgen. Let's push, again, when I say push them back, you can either push them back with reverb or a lot of times just push them back with volume. And as you notice, how you can hear everything is just nice and clean. And you know, a lot of times too, sometimes that what all that, you know, reverb, this, that, and the other, kind of muddies up the waters. And what I do is if I hear mud, like I'm hearing a little bit of mud, so what I'll do is I'll just EQ it out. You see that little move again? I didn't do much. Look at what did I take out? What, a dB and a half? I mean, that's not much. But again, look at the difference it made. So anyway, all right, that concludes this video with the bass and the rhythm section. Next, we're going to do the horns in the next video. Again, if you have any questions, any comments, I'll be more than happy to answer them. And we'll see you in the next video.